good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you're watching from. Igwe Lawrence is my name. Igwe Lawrence is senior consultant with Xylos Group International. Xylos Group International is into real-time, big-time real estate development here in Nigeria, and is now expanding globally to several countries across the globe. Today, I am bringing you not exactly a core real estate something, but it still have something to do with real estate. I'm bringing you the China's new law on divorce and how it affects real estate and the global impact of that new law. But before I go into it, please click subscribe and like of our channel, because we'll be bringing you several intel on anything that concerns real estate and real estate related matter. It is no longer news that the Chinese government has approved a new law on divorce and how it applies to properties owned by the two couples. The default term globally, or rather in most countries, especially Western countries, is where if there's divorce, properties are shared equally between the man and the husband and the wife. But the Chinese law now is saying that properties registered in the name of any of the spouse, doesn't matter what the gender, in case of divorce, is legally his or her property and cannot be part of what is shared. What implies is that it's not that it's absolute as such. What it's saying is that if you, whichever couple that is involved now, if you ever want to share in that property registered in name of that person, you have to show evidence, the onus of proof is on you that you contributed to the purchase of that property, even though it is registered in the name of the other spouse. So what that means in effect is that if you're able to produce evidence, even though that property is registered in the name of the other staff, it doesn't matter the gender, then despite the fact it's registered in his or her name, you still share in the property. But if there's no such evidence, it means that you do not, whichever person that's involved will not have any share in that property. Now, many people are raising you all over the whole world, saying this has something to do with gender equality and all that. But then you have to look at it in a careful way. The reason why the laws being applied in the most of the Western country, America, Canada, Europe, was done is because of the rascality of men, that they get married to their women, to their wife when they are tired of the woman, or maybe have libido for new women, for fresh women, or maybe the woman is getting old, they want to kick her away without anything, and which was criminal and wicked. That was why the law came up, so that if you try to do that, fine and good, but you need to share your property equally to the woman as well. And besides, as argument that women render a lot of unpaid services like maintenance of home and taking care of the child, which most of the time the men, the husband or the men don't do anything about. Well, not in general term, in general term. I still have read of men where their wives to prepare food, rice and all that. But there are also, generically, you see that many men are not involved in any of this. And now the argument is strong on the side of the woman that if they do all this, and even some men, they deliberately stop their wife from working. So how on earth is she going to acquire any property? How is she going to acquire any property? So lending credence to the idea that if there should be a divorce, then she should get half of the property. property. But now, the other side of it is that when the main rascality has been resolved, or rather dealt with by law, then the women now have weaponized the as the problem has now weaponized the law against the men. So there are some irresponsible women. We hear tales of what happened. There's a particular tribe in Nigeria here that some of them in the UK and US, they are saying that the divorce rate of all the women that are married, that are in that UK with them, or they marry them here and take them to the UK, is over 80%. For what happened is that when the woman comes up, the other women that have done that have been there with their husband, that did it to their husband and say, just raise a small quarrel, the man attacks you or say something and then calling the police. Now to make matters worse now, they say in UK, for instance, that you don't even need the before you need they say most of the thing that cause a divorce in United Kingdom, more than half of the divorce is unreasonable behavior. Now they are even saying the law has been improved to say that even if there is no such unreasonable behavior, that divorce could still be found, whether there is any unreasonable behavior or not. That somebody can be tired of the marriage and say, I don't want anymore. So you can imagine. So now all the woman does is that if he watches you and see that, I'm not saying all the women do that, but he watches you and see that I've got reasonable amount of property, he just say, can just come up with a small quarrel like that before you know the police has come, and then your property is gone. Half of your what you labored for is removed. So the old law, the default law we know, solved the men's rascality. The new law, the prevailing law now in Western countries created where women is now the one weaponizing the powers of the of what was used to solve men's rascality, and are now doing the rascality themselves. So it is you can argue it this way or that, but critics of the Chinese law are this law are saying that it raises serious question on gender equality and that it may make the woman to completely be vulnerable to in case divorce happen. But the Chinese people are saying that the main reason why they do this is for stability in marriage, so that not so if you know that you are not contributing much and don't just try to get away from the marriage. But at times nobody is saying that it's the women that cause all the problem. No, but what it's saying is that the pain that the children go through when they are divorced. So with this new law, that it will be more stability in marriage, that not just because of flimsy something and then you get out of the marriage. My own opinion is, of course it's my opinion, it's not binding on anyone, is that if you love your wife or you love your husband and you're buying things, you can buy the things in the name of both persons. Like say Mr. and Mrs. Jones, okay. But of course, should the new law other countries adopt it, it could mean that if relationship starts getting sour, even if you have been buying the name of other side, other gender, if you have been buying Mr. and Mrs. Jones, maybe when relations start getting out of hand, you now perhaps buy other gender could buy in their names, okay, so that if the worst come to the worst, they could now share what they had bought in the name of Mr. and Mrs. Jones together, maybe 50-50, and then the ones they are bought in their own private names, they become their exclusive property. That's my own opinion on it. I hope this information will help you in what you are doing and in keeping track of need to be abreast of the laws operating and know what you're going to do, and then I wish all good luck. Thank you.